We have a Christmas tree, so it's a festive video. Yeah, what else to say? Hi, I'm Noémie, welcome back to my channel La Fraise. Today we are talking about all my favorite sewing YouTubers and podcasts for you to listen to. As I have explained in Friday's Vlogmas, I'm going back down to one video a week and I want to give you good company to hang out with while you don't have a Friday video from me anymore. So I'm just gonna grab my computer and I'm going to run you through all the YouTubers I've been watching that are sewing YouTubers and explaining you why I like them. And the dishwasher is on, but I am fighting for natural light, so I hope that you can't hear the dishwasher too much. If you can, take it as ASMR ambiance sounds, and I'm sorry, but I really want to have some natural light. So we are fighting for time because natural light is scarce in Belgium this month. If you know, you know. I think we had 6 hours of actual sun this month. The rest of the time it was always behind clouds. Okay, I'm already like getting all over the place. My favorite sewing YouTubers and why I like them, and they are roughly ordered in who I've been following first to who I've been following the most recently. It's chronological order. Let's go. The first person I have to recommend is Alyssa from Thoughtful Creativity, and I don't watch all of Alyssa's video. Like some people, I really am going to watch everything they post even if I don't care about the topic. I know if you have people like that, but her, I don't watch everything, but I do like her videos because she teaches you a lot about self-drafting, drafting compared to your measurements and not just following a pattern. So she drafts a lot of her own patterns and then she shows you how to alter them to be able to basically sew everything you like. And I really like that way of thinking like, oh, you don't need a sewing pattern, you just need your body, which you have on hand, a measuring tape, and then you make it happen. I have tried a few of her videos when I was really early on in my sewing journey, and I think I was a bit too early on and I had not fully understood how things worked, and so I ended up with really weird necklines and some projects that were not as nice as I hoped. But it's definitely on me and not on her, and especially on the knowledge I had or had not at the time. But even if I didn't have great success with every single one of her video, I still think that the way of thinking really teaches you a lot. She has a lot of ideas. She does a ton of scrap busting, but not scrap busting to make small accessories, but really trying to piece things together and make proper piece of clothing from her scraps. So I just find her in general very inspiring for her method of sewing. She really tries to sew in a cheaper way. So in general, for me, Alyssa is more in the inspiration category. I really like her way of working, her way of thinking, and I think if you are starting to learn about how patterns work and how you can alter them yourself, I think she's really great because she really makes you understand how it works and how you can make it even without a pattern. I will stop talking about Alyssa and move on. I feel like I'm repeating myself already. Next we have Janelle from Rosery Apparel. I want to say for every one of them, oh, you probably know her, but like the first ones I've been following obviously have been quite big. Probably you know Janelle. Janelle lives in Tasmania in Australia, so she has a lovely Australian accent, which obviously my wife is Australian as well, so I'm partial to a bit of an Australian accent. In general, how can I say? Janelle has a very strong sense of style, which is extremely different to mine, and I find that it's sometimes I basically don't like everything she makes. Sometimes really like, girl, what are you doing? But I do love the fact that she has such a strong sense of style and that she knows what she wants to make. And I don't know, even though I wouldn't want to wear what she makes necessarily, I think it's great to know what you like so clearly, so I do appreciate that in her. She also hacks her patterns a lot. So here, it's not self-drafted pattern like Alyssa. Here she has her own patterns. She has a company called Rosery Apparel. She sells a few patterns on there, and often she shows you videos, and to make whatever she's making in the videos, she shows you how to hack her patterns. And so even if you don't have her patterns, looking at that and looking at how she's hacking things helps you understand how things are made, how you could modify a pattern you have to make whatever you want. So you can see a theme in those first two. The transformation aspect and the hacking of patterns aspect, I think, teaches you a lot in sewing, especially in the beginning. And yeah, and even though her style is definitely not mine, I really like watching, you know, her roundups and everything and seeing what she's made, and it's also cohesive and I find it really nice. She also bought a house now and is renovating it, and again, a very different style than mine, but I really enjoy watching all that. And in one of the projects she's made recently that I found super inspiring, and I have to absolutely stop myself to trying to do that type of things, because definitely the type of things I'd want to do. But she has gone to Japan for I believe 6 months, and she's done a cross stitch a day on a big poster during those 6 months. And so every day the cross stitch represents something they've done that day for the 6 months in Japan. And I love the type of things that like every day or like one a day or any like challenge like that. I absolutely have to stop myself, because otherwise I have a million things to do every day. But look who just appeared. So for reference, you guys are on the ironing board, and this one just appeared because a corgi is never far away from you. How do you dare trying to do things without your corgi? Did I say everything about Janelle? Yes, so I loved her cross stitch. I find it extremely inspiring. I absolutely can't make a cross stitch myself like this, otherwise we shall never get anything done, shall we? But yeah, and she also just has such a lovely personality. I don't know, it feels very cozy to watch her videos, but it's also because I've been watching her for so long. So, you know, the people you've been watching for a very long time, they really feel like friends after a while, even though obviously she doesn't know me. But she also traveled to Europe recently, and she was in Belgium, so I was feeling a bit like, ooh, kind of famous. If she's in the same country as me, does that count? Okay, the next one, talking about big of the big, but it was after I had kind of finished all of Janelle's back catalogue, then I went to With Wendy, and I mean, you must know With Wendy, right? She's made so many types of video. I can't even tell what made her big, because she has so much of everything. She's been making coats out of blankets, thrift flip, buying second-hand clothes and transforming them, renovating her studio. I'm looking at a bit of everything. I mean, she's made so much, like literally so much. It's really hard to actually summarize her in one word. A channel about my lifelong sewing adventures. Here you are. She's a sewing person. She's a sewing person. She's really big. She has a really nice, I don't know, energy, and she's also nice to be around, I find. I actually knew about her because I feel like everyone knows about her, but I was not following her until I heard her on the Love to Sew podcast, which I shall obviously mention in a second. And yeah, after I heard her interview, I was like, what am I doing not following her? So no, I am following her. It also generally goes a bit by phase. I discover someone new. If I click, I generally go through the entire back catalogue of everything they have posted. Like I am a bit intense like that. I do watch a lot of YouTube because I have YouTube going on when I craft, when I sew, when I paint. So obviously I get through a lot of videos. So basically, I guess she arrived in my life at a moment where I was out of videos, and so I just go through someone's channel. I put everything they've made in my to watch list, and then I go slowly through it. And once I'm finished with everything, then I go to the next one. And the next one is the fold line, and I did exactly the same. I remember exactly the moment I was like, shoot, I'm out of things. I'm going to discover this new channel and I'm going to go through everything. The reason why I started watching the fold line is because after each Sewing Bee episode, they do a pattern search of everything that is shown on the Great British Sewing Bee. And this is how I discovered them, but then yeah, I just kind of like went back. I didn't watch all of the pattern edit, like the weekly edits, because that's a little bit repetitive. I mean, it's not really interesting if you're not watching them live. But I basically went all the way back, and when I mean all the way back, I mean all the way back. I'm a bit ashamed, my gosh, I watch so much YouTube. Oh well, no shame, no shame. I also got YouTube Premium, by the way. It's the best money ever spent. I mean, we don't have TV, we don't have Netflix, we don't have any subscription on any entertainment. I want to say we just have Spotify and YouTube, and it's very nice to have YouTube Premium. You get really used to not having the ads, I can tell you. Okay, talking about the fold line, my gosh, I digress so much. The Fold Line is a website that offers sewing patterns, so they really compile sewing patterns from Big Four but also independent sewing stores, and they also offer printing services and everything. They also have some sewing accessories on the website. Along with the website is the YouTube channel, which I'm talking about now, And on the YouTube channel, every week they do a roundup of the new sewing patterns that have come out that week. I find it really interesting to watch. They're generally 10-ish minutes videos, so they're not too long, and it makes me feel like I'm keeping on top of the industry to watch those videos and to know what has come out that week. Otherwise, they also have a few videos where they look into a movie and they search for patterns that are matching the movie. So exactly like what I've done with Wicked, it was very much inspired by what the Fold line normally does. And they also have sew downs, and that's just a compilation of lots of media, exhibits, books, and everything around that you can read, watch, listen that has come out around sewing recently. So really good channel, I really enjoy it. Also, I feel like I have to mention, but these are not all the sewing channel I watch, but these are the ones I'm subscribed to. So I kind of consider that if I just watch when I see you popping up, but that I haven't felt like subscribing, that, you know, I don't consider you part of my list that I'm presenting you here. So for full transparency, here are all the sewing channels I'm subscribed to, but I might watch other sewing YouTubers, but more on a random basis. Next up, someone I talked a lot about, and I feel like it's a little bit cheating. So this is Charlie Nebe, and you know I watch her because I mention her in so many videos, and she is the person behind the stitchery. But I actually don't really watch the stitchery. I watched a couple of videos, sometimes they interest me, but most of the time it's not my thing or not for me. But I really like Charlie herself, and on the second channel she has more chatty video where she just talks about everything. So I don't know, does it count as sewing? She's definitely a sewing person, and she's generally stitching while she talks to us on the second channel, so I will say that it counts. Anyway, if you like sewing in general, you should go and watch her main channel. She got really big when she started posting the split side dresses. That's also how I discovered her. But yeah, I really do prefer her second channel. I just like to hear her babble at me, and again, perfect to do the dishes with, sew with, stitch yourself while she's stitching, and I really connect with her way of thinking in many ways. I have already talked a lot about this, so I will not get on anymore about this. But so Charlie, also one I have watched everything on her second channel, but that's not really special because she doesn't have so many videos on the second channel yet. But here you are, just mentioning it. Next up, we have Steph Sewn, and Steph Sewn has been advised by one of you guys, I think Kate. I think it was one of the Kates around you who said go and watch Steph Sewn, because I was sewing, I think, my first leotard and battling with lycra, and actually Steph Sewn has sewn sportswear. She had a ton of recommendation for patterns, fabrics. Very difficult for me because it's basically impossible from Belgium to order stuff from the UK or from the US because the import taxes are so bad. But anyway, she has, I think, videos that made her very big were her sportswear information video, but otherwise she shares her make. She likes more vintage patterns. She also has a lovely personality. I've also watched I have watched everything on her channel. You see a theme here. I discover someone, I watch everything. Oh, and she also has collections from a country. So for example, she's gonna look at Nordic pattern designers and talk about them and try to make us branch out away from the designers we already know and all love. And I don't know, I find her videos very inspiring to think about things I don't normally even consider, think about. And her Instagram is very cute as well. Her partner really likes bricks, and she always posts about him talking about bricks, and I find that really cute. Next up, reaching people I have not watched the whole back catalogue for. Shocker. Sydney Graham is also massive. You probably know her. I have discovered her like everyone on YouTube because she got so big and probably got recommended to every single sewist out there. She got really big because last year she started her own sewing patterns line, and she has a few sewing patterns that are already available. And yeah, she shares her life as a sewing pattern designer, also her creative days. She talks a little bit about her life and her kids. I mean, it's not like a daily vlogger at all, but like videos I've really enjoyed from her were her massive long Q&A where she talks about everything and how she came to do what she does now. And I really like the videos where she chats a lot. The videos I have not watched from her are her tutorials because I don't really care, but I really like videos where she chats. So those ones I have scroll back and watch the old ones as well, but otherwise I just like to watch whatever she's up to. She also has a very cute style, again very different from mine, but it's not a problem. I still like to watch people who dress differently than me. I find it very inspiring. So don't really know what to say about Sydney Graham because I feel like she's so much bigger than me. You probably know her if you're here, but yeah, a lovely personality. I don't know, I like people who are really warm and make me feel cozy. I realize there's no men on my list. Guys, okay, there's no men on my list. Can you please recommend any nice sewing men? I really want, maybe that's the issue. The sewing men I have seen a few videos from, they tend to be too intense. I need cozy, I need chill. So a chill cozy dude for me, please. Sounds like I'm like asking you for a date. Can you find me a chill cozy dude? No, I like one that's not too intense and like especially like not yelling at the camera. Like, you know, when they're like a bit too much. Don't want that. Find me a Sydney Graham but men version and I'll watch some men sewing because it's missing in my collection. Next we have from Carly B, and I'm quite recently subscribed to her and I have not watched through her back catalogue, but I have watched every single one of her latest video and I really enjoy following her at the moment because she is sewing her wedding dress. I find it very interesting how she gets about to doing that, and she's also from Australia. She has also a crazy style and that's very different to mine. So yeah, also a really fun personality and she makes very fun clothes. I feel like the only thing I've made that's a bit in her style is my patchwork dress because she's very much that style. Okay guys, we're reaching the end. I am also watching The Secret Life of the Seamstress, so that's Sally, and Sally is a little bit older than me. I believe she's in her 40s. Gosh, I hope that I don't insult anyone. I'm pretty sure she's in her 40s because she has kids that are a little bit older. There's something comforting about her and something cozy and just nice to have in the background while I sew. Again, like I prefer the ones where it's more chatty. I generally prefer more chatty videos because I'm always doing something, so it's hard to watch at the same time. I do like the way she dresses, even though her body type is so different to mine that I can't really relate on that front. She's been sewing for much longer than I have, so I guess it's also what I could be one day. She also has a very good channel name, The Secret Life of a Seamstress. I like it. And did I go all the way back with her? I didn't go all the way back and watch the videos, I realize now, but... So yeah, more recent find. I've watched the more recent videos from her, but I also really like her. And even newest subscribe for me is Rachel Stewart, and she I think became very big last year with her video about everything she had made in her first year of sewing, and I had watched that one and then kind of like, yeah, not being really interested, but then I watched a couple of her videos more recently, and again the more chatty ones, that's always the ones that are going to get me. When it's sew-alongs or tutorials, I don't really get interested, but then she did a massive Q&A and I was like, yes, a 1-hour Q&A where I can listen to you chat for a long time. This is exactly what I want for good company. And then after that I was hooked and I've been watching her videos ever since. I even watched her video about her kiwi style, and I don't really care about those things, but I really enjoyed watching her talking about it. It's like, if you are going to have a nice chatty video and you chat in a nice way, I'm going to listen because I need entertainment. And even newest follow, and that's because the sewing channel is very new, but Yvette is one of my subscribers and she just started her sewing channel, so I've also subscribed to her. If you do like an Australian accent, one more for you. And so far she's been sharing what she has been sewing. She's also gone on a road trip and shared all the crafty things she wanted to do on the road trip, and then in the end what she actually did on the road trip. Newer channels, not so many videos, but I've watched them all, and I'm curious to see where Yvette gets up to. Quick word from Noémie from next week's video. I want to add Evelyn Wood in the sewing channels that I have been watching. I'm not subscribed to Evelyn Wood, which is Wood? I never know. Evelyn Wood. No S. I'm not subscribed to Evelyn Wood, but I still wanted to mention her. I have been watching a ton of her when I started sewing, when I wanted to understand lots of technical points, and I find that when I was starting and being self-taught, she taught me a lot. So maybe I wasn't self-taught, I was Evelyn Wood taught. I feel like I can't not mention her, even though I don't watch her videos anymore. She brought me a ton in my sewing journey when I started. I feel like she has a very methodical way of explaining things, and even her older videos, like, they're very valuable. So I really like what she's made, and I've watched a ton of her videos. The last few years she's had breast cancer, and I'm so happy that she's now cancer free. I'm so glad she's better. So even though I'm not subscribed to her, she's one that I still really wanted to mention because she's been such an important channel in my sewing journey. So I'm just quickly adding this one in. To finish the sewing channel section of the video, I want to actually mention 2 knitting channels. And the first one, I mean, first and second, they kind of inspired me together, but mostly the first one. They are the reason I'm on YouTube. I don't know why knitting channels are the reason I thought, oh, I can also do this, but they're definitely what inspired me to do it too. And the first one is Kutovakika. So Kika is a knitwear designer. All of my jumpers at the moment I made from her book because I really liked her YouTube channel, so then I bought her book. Kika is such a nice personality. I have gone all the way from the start and watched all the videos. She became big in giving Instagram photo tips, and I haven't watched those videos, but the knitting videos after that I've been watching and very much enjoying. She had a baby recently, and following all that journey with her, it was also very nice. I don't know, at the moment she posts a little bit less, which is why I also need to keep finding new YouTubers. I really like what she does, very nice style, looks like such a lovely personality. I know you can't ever really know the person from knowing them on YouTube, but you've watched so many hours of them, you still feel like you know them a little bit. So yes, I was extremely attached to Kika, and she's a big reason why I thought I could do this YouTube channel, because it was always clear for me that if I wanted to be on YouTube, it would be in English. But I felt very self-conscious of having a French accent, and I thought it's unacceptable to make videos if you don't sound American or British or Australian, obviously, you know, like a native English accent. And then I watched all of Kika's channel and I realized, well, she speaks Swedish, so she has a small accent, and it didn't bother me because I liked her so much. I was like, whatever, you speak with the accent you have and you're understandable and it's fine. And so I think hearing a lot of her made me realize that if you have an accent, it's part of you, but it doesn't necessarily mean that you can't speak on YouTube and that it's unacceptable to not sound American or British. And this is what gave me the confidence to pop on here. So yeah, I will stop talking about Kika, but as you can see, she means a lot to me and also in my own YouTube journey. And finally, we have Knits, and Amy is also a really nice personality. Her videos are very calm, they're mostly podcasts, so she sits down and talks to you, which is by now you have understood exactly what I like. And so, caring not much about knitting at the time, I have watched her videos from the start. So what I did is I watched a couple of the newer ones, and then once I saw I liked them, I went straight from the start, put everything in my to watch list in order, and I got through a whole back catalog like this. So I've also watched everything that Amy made, and yeah, I really like her channel. If you like knitting, it's a nice one, and it's just if you like a cozy personality. And even though I don't knit so much myself, I do like to hear about knitting and to keep up with what she's doing. So here we are. I feel like it's really weird, like this obsession I have, and I feel like, look, I have a brain like that. It's a bit all or nothing. So if I like your YouTube channel, I'm going to watch everything, and that's how it is. Don't judge me. Okay, I need to wrap this up because the dog needs walking, the sun is leaving, I'm getting tired. So let's wrap up this video. So the last category I have is podcast, and there I have 3, and I will share them in order. First, and I'm sure you know it, but it's Love to Sew. And Love to Sew was a podcast that I think literally changed my life. I started listening to this podcast and really felt like I could do things that I previously never thought I would be able to do. So, for example, there would be a podcast on swimwear, and I'd be like, yes, I can make a swimsuit. Let's make a swimsuit. And I would make a swimsuit. And then there would be podcasts about jeans. I have not made jeans yet, but I have bought a patterns for jeans, and I feel like there were lots of stuff when I started sewing where I was like, I'm just gonna make blouses and dresses, and that's it, easy things. And now I'm like, why can't I make bags? And why can't I make underwear, and why can't I make a bra and swimsuit and jeans and a jacket? And I think it made me realize that I don't need to feel like I need to do only safe sewing or easy sewing, and it's just been a really, really motivational podcast for me. So they have the thematic episodes on the main channel, and then they also have the Patreon episodes, and I'm also a Patreon of the podcast because I enjoy what they do so much. I enjoy the Patreon episodes because they just chat about their life and what they've been up to, and I love hearing about the entrepreneur life. It was hearing about Caroline, who's been to design school, which has made me want to go back to school to sewing because I was so jealous. I was like, imagine having done school for sewing, how cool. And obviously I was very attached to my identity as a self-taught person, but I was also like, imagine all you can learn and how deep your knowledge about sewing would be to have a proper like school degree about it. And I don't know, the inspiration they gave me is just huge. Again, like I listened to the whole podcast, and I remember when I was listening to the very last episodes, because they have started the podcast in 2018, I believe 2018. And I started listening in 2021. So I had a lot of catch up to do, which was great. But then once I started reaching the end of the episodes, I was like, oh no, like what am I going to do? I can't listen to any more Love to Sew. And my wife was like, you could restart the whole thing. But because I'm very intense, I was like, oh, if I restart the whole thing, I have to restart the whole thing. I don't know if I want to. Yeah, I've really, really enjoyed that podcast. You really get to know the two hosts and feel super, I don't know, like that parasocial friendly relationship with them. And one of the hosts is Helen from Helen's Closet, which is a pattern company I often talk about. And obviously I have tried her patterns because I've heard about her, but I do not rave about her patterns because I like her parasocially. It's really, yes, I have tried the patterns because she talks about them and I wanted to support her, but if I hadn't liked them afterwards, I wouldn't obviously continue promoting them. So just wanted to say. Two more. There is Seamwork, and Seamwork, I have a bit of a love-hate relationship with them. Not love-hate is too strong. Seamwork, they have the podcast that's there to support their Seamwork membership, and I don't like feeling so strongly the funnel that they have to get you to their membership, and I feel like you're being sold to a little bit too strongly for my liking. But once you have run out of Love to Sew and you need to listen to something, and I walk my dog a lot, I'm outside a lot, I need content, I have then listened to the entire Seamwork back catalogue. Obviously I have, but honestly every time skipping the start where they introduce everything and then the end when they re-talk about the membership, I don't know, I find that a bit heavy to have to hear about it all the time, especially when you listen everything in one go like me, you know, sometimes 3 episodes in a day. It's like, I know you have a Seamwork membership, blah, blah, blah. But see, I was annoyed, but then by the time you've listened to a million episodes like I have, you do get attached to the host as well because you spend so much time with them. So I don't really know how to qualify this one or if I would recommend it or not. Like, I can't not recommend it. I've listened to so many hours of them. And I think it's nice because each episode follows a theme and you can listen to them, you know, talk about that theme. So, and I will keep listening to the new episodes as well. So yeah, I think if you can get over the marketing aspect of Seamwork, the podcast itself is still nice. And the very last one is the Sewing Club. And actually it's Anka. Is that you? I'm going to check. It's not Anka, but your username is Anki. Okay, I see what I've done there. Katy, it's you who recommended them, and I have listened to every single episode, but they had only 13 episodes when I started. But it's the Sewing Club, and more Australian accents, yay! God bless an Australian accent. So nice ladies. I mean, one of them is Kylie in the Machine, which I knew because I knew of the brand Kylie in the Machine, and the other is Gemma from the Sewing Gem, and that I didn't know her or her store beforehand, but what a nice podcast, so nice to listen to. I really like the format of two friends talking to each other about sewing, and here the format is that every month they sew a pattern, so they both sew the same patterns and they talk about it. What a dangerous podcast, because every month I'm like, oh yes, I'm going to make this, and obviously I listened to the last year of episodes in 1 month and a bit, so I wanted to make all of the patterns I talked about and really had to restrain myself. I know I don't have the time at the moment, but really makes you want to sew with them. That format when it's like Sewing Club, and it's like I want to be part of the Sewing Club and sew too. The newest podcast for me, but I'm really looking forward to new episodes. Super fun, really nice vibes. I was also trying to pace myself and to not listen to the 13 episodes too quick, because then I know it's gone. So I was really trying to like savor it and make the most of it while they were there. Okay, and that's all. Whew, I don't know why I'm feeling so tired today. So that's it. I thank you so much for watching, and as you have understood, me and my obsessional personality, we are ready for new entertainment to keep me company what I sew. I am interested in podcast and YouTubers recommendation, and if you want, also tell me what video or what episodes I should watch, because otherwise I get really overwhelmed. I feel like I have to watch everything. So if you say like, oh, this person, and I really liked the video when they did this or they talked about this, it helps me to not get overwhelmed. So that's my personal request for you guys if you want to share YouTubers and podcasters. Otherwise I will feel obliged to watch the whole back catalogs, and it's gonna take me again ages. Thank you so much in advance for sharing your favorite sewing media in the comments. By the way, if there's other media you like, I guess there could be magazines, but like anything else you can watch, read, listen to, like I don't have any newsletters or anything I particularly enjoy, but if there's anything else that's sewing related that kind of comes out every week or month that you would like to recommend, please do so as well, because that's the type of things I'm really interested. Of course, the Great British Sewing Bee, but you can't watch it outside of the UK, so we are not watching it at all, are we? Because we can't watch it if we're not in the UK, so we don't watch it. But the Sewing Bee is so nice, such a good vibes, and the Christmas episode's about to come out, so we shall not watch it. Let's wrap this up. Leave your recommendation down below. I shall see you next Monday, because I post a video every Monday. I invite you to subscribe if you want to see more of this chaos and beautiful Christmas tree and see what I'm up to. I'm a student in costume, so if you want to see some costumes, you can follow me. And also how we learn to sew at school, if that interests you in general. That's something that could be interesting, because tutorials and more information about proper sewing are coming. And like the video if you liked it, and finally don't forget that you can make anything, including a YouTube channel if you want to, and I shall see you in the next one. Bye! It's basically chronological. It's kind of a thrift flip. Ooh, it's hard to say.